Johnson challenged Grant's closing of the Richmond Inspector for releasing disloyal editorials, and also his execution of the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which was authorized over Johnson's veto. Johnson brought Grant on his swing-around-the-circle trip, a not successful effort to rally national support for lax policies towards the South, just because he needed his appeal. Grant departed the trip early after calling Johnson's declarations a national disgrace. Overriding Johnson's veto, Congress passed the first of 3 Reconstruction Acts upon March 2, 1867, putting Army workers in charge of implementing the policy. To secure Grant, Congress developed the Command of the Army Act, which disallowed him from being eliminated or moved and forced Johnson to provide directions through Grant. Johnson got rid of Secretary of War Stanton without Senate authorization in the month of August 1867, bypassing the Period of Workplace Act, and chose Grant as advertisement interim Secretary of War. Stanton was the sole cabinet member that supported the Radicals. Regardless of initially opposing Stanton's termination, Grant accepted the position because he didn't want the Army to fall under the control of a conservative appointee who would stymie Reconstruction and created an unpleasant alliance with Johnson. Stanton was renewed by a Senate committee on Friday, January 10, 1868, after Congress voted to maintain him in office in the month of December 1867. Grant notified Johnson that he was resigning from the office to keep from fines and imprisonment. Johnson specified that he would handle Grant's legal duties and that he had promised Grant that he would hold back on resigning till a proficient replacement could be recognized. Grant turned over the office to Stanton the following Monday, which triggered in Johnson some consternation. At a tense cabinet meeting, Johnson personally implicated Grant of lying and duplicity, regardless of the fact that a shocked and disillusioned Grant actually believed it was Johnson who was lying. The publishing of furious texts between Grant and Johnson led to their full separation. As a result of the problem, Johnson was impeached and tried in the Senate. Johnson was saved from being removed from office by a single vote. Grant's appeal grew amongst the radical Republicans, and his governmental election appeared guaranteed. When the Republican National Convention in Chicago in the year 1868 assembled, the delegates all chose Grant for President and Speaker of the House Schuyler Colfax for Vice President. In spite of his desire to stay in the Army, Grant accepted the Republican candidateship, feeling that he was the only person who could bring the nation together. The Republicans promoted equal civil and political rights for all, and African American enfranchisement. After deserting Johnson, the Democrats chose previous New York Governor Horatio Seymour for president and Missouri's Francis P. Blair for vice president. The Democrats opposed African American suffrage and sought the quick reunification of previous Confederate states and amnesty for all past political sins. Grant didn't take part in the campaign and instead went on a trip of the West with Sherman and Sheridan that summer season. The Republicans, on the other hand, used his words, "Let us have peace," their campaign slogan. At the time of the presidential campaign, Grant's 1862 General Order No. 11 ended up being a point of contention. He attempted to disassociate himself from it by saying, "I have no predisposition against sect or race, but want each person to be judged on his own worth." The Democrats and their Klan backers were mainly worried about ending Reconstruction, frightening blacks and Republican politicians, and bringing back control of the South to white Democrats and the planter class, pushing away war Democrats in the North. The assassination of Republican Congressman James M. Hines in Arkansas by a Klansman in the month of October 1868, when Hines was campaigning for Grant, is one example. Grant got a landslide of 214 votes to Seymour's 80 votes in the Electoral College, winning by 300,000 votes out of 5,716,082 votes cast. While Seymour earned a majority of white tallies, Grant got 500,000 votes from African Americans, giving him 52.7% of the vote. Due to Ku Klux Klan violence against African American citizens, he lost Louisiana and Georgia. Grant was the youngest president ever chosen, at the age of 46, and the first president after the nation had eliminated slavery.